people could save the lives of 200. A misjudgment like no other in history. But Arnaud Amouret, the abbot of Citeaux, a Cistercian monk with a military vision, he had to be the key. There was a knock on the door. He ignored it, but struggled to reconnect with his thoughts, his concentration already brittle. The knock came again, and he went to the door and opened it. It was Adrienne's friend from the floor below, the preppy Debbie Portman, who looked like she might be a lawyer or a junior congresswoman, but who actually did nothing. Adrienne occasionally wrote features for a French art magazine, but essentially lived off family money, so the two of them were natural companions. Finn didn't even know what Ethan Portman did, except that it was something in finance. They were American and had a daughter, which was about the sum of his knowledge. And they were Adrienne's friends, and his only by default. She smiled, but it looked strained, and even though he picked up the signals in her expression, he said, "Debbie, good morning. I'm afraid Adrienne isn't here." He realized Grasset hadn't told him when she'd left, though he presumed it had been recent. "I imagine she's just gone away for a day or two." Debbie looked momentarily at a loss, as if she wanted to say one thing, but felt obliged to respond to his opening comment. With the air of someone wanting to dismiss a subject quickly, she said, "Adrienne left nearly a week ago. Haven't you spoken to her since then?" "Where's she gone?" She hesitated, not wanting to say. It galled Finn that he had to discuss this with someone else. "Debbie, I'm only asking where she's gone." "To her brother's." "In Paris?" That irritated him. He'd almost called Mathieu while he was in Paris, but had somehow failed to get around to it. "Okay. Well, thanks for letting me know." He searched for something in her expression or body language that acknowledged the conversation was over, but she remained still like someone held on pause. And now that he looked at her, he could see how drawn she looked, how lacking in sleep. For a sickening moment, he wondered if Adrienne's departure somehow involved Ethan Portman. "Might I come in for a moment?" "Is this something that can wait? You see, I'm working. Right in the middle of something, in fact." He realized she must have seen him come in, and had to know he'd only been working for 10 minutes or so, but she caught him out by saying, "On the Cathars, I know." He'd always asked Adrienne not to discuss his works in progress with friends, but before he could say anything, Debbie caught him off guard a second time. "My daughter's missing." She looked on the verge of tears, as if her entire unshakable, preppy edifice was about to crumble. "I see. Please, come in, come and sit down," he said, hoping movement would help her to pull herself together. She walked through into the living room and sat down on the edge of one of the sofas. Now that she was inside, she looked eager to leave, perhaps wanting to be back in her own apartment in case there was news. "Can I get you a drink or something?" She shook her head, looking into the middle distance. "Okay. So you say Hailey's missing?" 3 days, and the police aren't helping. And I know something's happened to her, I know it. That's why I'm here, Finn. I just need someone who can do more than—" Finn saw where she was heading and couldn't believe it. He jumped in quickly, saying, "Hold on, Debbie. I'm sympathetic, really I am, but I'm not sure what you want of me." She fixed her gaze on him, her eyes rimmed with tears now. "Help to find her. I know about your career, about who you are. Adrienne told me." "Told you what?" "I write popular history books." "Before that, Finn, she told me you were a spy or an agent or whatever it is they call them now." He was briefly angry with Adrienne. Not so much because she'd refused to let the whole spying business drop. If anything, he admired that she'd always seen through his denials, but because she'd shared those thoughts with Debbie Portman. It proved that he'd been right never to be completely open with her, that it was best never to be completely open with anyone. No. Adrienne likes to believe I was a spy, but she shouldn't have told you that because it's ridiculous, and now it's given you false hope. I'm not a spy, I never was. I write popular history books." She sprung up from the sofa. "Jesus, Finn! My daughter is missing! You're the only person we know who might have the contacts, who might know how to help, and I'm asking you to help find her, that's all." He felt hemmed in, the startling sense of exposure less oppressive.